Uh, Hi, friends. Wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today and welcome you to my garage here, real quick, in my house. But wanted to talk to you guys to the life about the battle axe that we got going on here and about all the lifts that I've had on this thing, and between being just a regular stock truck to having it Titan swapped to now being a solid axle swapped. So you guys all know the battle axe there, badass little truck. But yeah, no. So I just wanted to take this time to talk to you guys to see if there's, you know, which mods you guys are thinking about doing, or thinking if you want to solid axle it, or just go with a Titan swap, or whatever course it is that you guys want to do. Try to just give you guys the life of my truck so that way you guys can kind of know where to go. So I've had this truck now for 10 years. Bought it back in 2010, back in January. It was just a stock 07 off-road package, 6-speed. First time took it wheeling, just had some all-weather tires on it. I got super stuck, had to get rescued by a Jeep. And of course, that's when I found the new X at that time, and I got the mod bug, and all of a sudden just had to start modifying everything. So started off with just doing spacers and shackles, and then upgraded to some mud terrains. By the way, you might want to grab a beer. This is going to be a minute. But so yeah, I did spacers and shackles on the truck, and that was the first year that I had decided. I said, fuck it, I'm going to go out to Moab. So went out to Moab, didn't know anyone that was out there, just a couple of people that I talked to on the forums, and everyone was like, man, you just got to go and do it. So went out there, spacers, shackles, got some rock sliders installed while we were out there, and just wheeled the shit out of the truck. So it's got the electronic locker that was in the rear at the time, and I just had a blast wheeling the truck, with just a minimal amount of lift that was on there. Nothing with any, actual performance, because it's just a spacer and shackle. You're just elevating it just, a couple of inches. But, that was, I did have a lot of fun with the truck like that, but just like, going out to off-road parks and trying to meet some more people, obviously you want to push your truck just a little bit further, right? So after that, upgraded to Radflow 2.0s in the front, and then in the back did a Old Man Emu leaf pack that was back there. Same thing, lifted up a little bit higher in the front and the rear. Gave it a little bit, better performance as far as control and everything, with the articulation of, what you can get out of Radflow 2.0s with 2-inch lift. So did wheel it like that for a little bit, but then of course it was time to upgrade it a little bit further. So now we're probably going into like year 3 or 4 of owning the truck, and of course now it's time to Titan swap. So I got my Titan swap for a really, really good deal from a good buddy. So I was able to stay on the lower end of that, but with all of this, obviously every little upgrade that you do, you still enhance your performance a little bit, but you still have some limitations that are on the truck. So when we started Titan swapping it, same thing, upgraded the leaf pack a little bit, added in some extra leaves into my Old Man Emu to give it a little bit more of a lift. I think I had a couple of sets of Add-A leaves that were in there, and then in the front, upgraded to the 2.5s, Titan upper control arms, Titan lower control arms, and then the M205. And I wheeled like that forever. So I mean, for the next like 5 years, I wheeled that truck like a Titan swap, with a Titan swap. And don't get me wrong, the Titan swap was awesome. Truck performed great. That's what you guys saw on the TV show. Just an IFS truck, just out there just wheeling the shit out of this thing. But within those 5 years, with me becoming a better wheeler, I was gaining a lot more confidence, but the only thing that started to break was the truck. And I get that, people, when you pound on it, yeah, you're going to beat the truck up. I get it. That shit happens. But I started breaking stuff that people really don't think you're going to break. For instance, inside the M205 in the front carrier, don't mind this because I was welding on it, but stub shaft, right? So I've gone through 2 or 3 of these now. The first one, the splines that were here were actually twisted, inside of here, so I don't know how I managed to twist the splines, but I did, and it locked it into the wheel bearing. So I had to actually torch it, cut everything off, which this is not easy to torch through, but we finally got everything separated and I got myself back out to Moab. But even so, there's supposed to be splines that are right here. This shiny part that's right here, that's supposed to be splined. And when these little splines are the only thing that's actually holding on inside of the carrier. I don't even know why they have the rest of this in there as being splined, because it doesn't touch anything. Right where the snap ring is at is where everything is held onto, and everything snaps off and shaves off. So even when I was wheeling the truck, I was breaking that. Now, I probably went through 2 or 3 of those at $238 a piece, or I can't remember exactly what the price was after shipping and all that, but went through a couple of those. Realistically, that's an easy fix, right? I did, the first M205 that I had in the truck was the 2-rib. It wasn't, we all know that that's not the stronger one to be putting in there. You want to have that 3-rib that's in there. The long part of the tubing there for the M205, snap that, so I had to get a completely new housing for it. Let me rewind there a little bit too. So when I did shift to the M205, I switched over to 456 gears. So you're talking gears for the rear, gears for the front, master install kit for both, and then you were good to go. You know, then your gears were all matched up, and you know that all of that is really expensive all within itself. You know, you're talking thousands, $1,000+ for gears and master install kits, and then when you start breaking stuff, you got to replace all that shit again anyway. So once I got onto the second M205, had an issue where wheeling, doing some, wheeling kind of hard, and yeah, ring gear completely toast. So toasted the ring gear again. We were able to take everything apart, new gears, master install kit, and at that time we put in the air locker, ARB air locker. And then let's see, out in Moab, you guys know this M226 carrier e-locker. The side gear on the inside cracks while we're out in Moab. Had to get towed up out of the trails and everything, towed back down to the cabins. Luckily, awesome friends that were there that had a spare. Well, it wasn't there. It was in Salt Lake City. Someone actually drove down a carrier for me, and then had a really good friend of mine able to help me do an install of a new carrier with gears and everything in the driveway of the Gone Moab condos, so I could just drive the truck home, because we done roped it real good on that time. And then let's see what else is broken on this thing. Oh yeah, from our beloved days at Truck Night in America, this is our M205 3-rib. That's in 2 fucking pieces. So, these things break. It happens. So we just keep breaking the truck, and at that point, that's when I decided that it was time for me to go something that was just a little bit more durable. After being through so many M205s, buying a new M205, having to have it re-geared, having to have the lockers back installed again, and just going over that multiple times, just again and again and again, it just finally got to the point for me to where I knew that I was pushing the truck further than its capabilities. So that was when I made the decision that it was time to solid axle swap this. So reached out to Shadow Wolf. It was still in the R&D phase, and that's when he started helping me out. I started piecing everything together, and now we've got the truck as it is now. So with the Dana 60s that are under here, and obviously the install that we did, I tried to do it as cheap as I could, just to see how low we could get the price on everything. And it really, I know a lot of you guys are stressing out about this, but it really was not all that bad. I know the initial shock of the kit and everything seems like it's that much, but when you do the cost that was the cost justification for me, was just the durability factor. I was tired of breaking stuff. The truck was getting pushed further than its capabilities, so it was time to upgrade. So I hit the power button. So that's when it was a decision for us to go to the solid axle. So got the Dana 60s that are under there. And then the coilovers I got from AccuTune. I got them shipped to the house for, $1,050 or something like that. It wasn't too bad. We were able to reuse the old Xterra leaf pack that was already in there. That was already beefed up. Shit, where's my flashlight? All right. Wrong one. But the kit really is solid, and I was gonna climb under there and show you guys everything, but it's a goddamn solid axle kit. You're just, I don't know how much you're gonna see under here, but everything's caged out nicely. Everything was well put together. There wasn't any modifications or anything we had to do. I know everyone's saying like, oh, I don't see it being a bolt-on kit, but no shit, the fucking thing's a bolt-on kit. So, it just ties together really nice, and it's strong and it's durable. And when I talked to Shadow Wolf, he was like, dude, he's like, I know you're gonna push this thing hard, so I need you to push this thing hard. So I started just beating the snot out of this thing the hardest that I could, and this truck, even with open diffs, just keeps performing very, very well. We did a wheeling event. The hell was that? Back in October, and we for our little Oktoberfest run for Great Lakes Xterras out in Attica, Indiana. And some of the stuff that these guys were out there running with us, I was back in the pack because I was still testing the truck out. But these guys that were fully locked 35s, struggling to get up stuff, this goddamn truck just crawls up. It just crawls up. It crawls through everything, even with open diffs, just crawls up everything. So as far as the performance factor of this thing, it really, really made a huge difference. But that's just it's just the big change between obviously going from solid axle to Titan swap, is that everything's got its little pluses and minuses. And this truck is finally getting to a point in which I'm extremely happy with it, to where I know that I can continue to push this truck further and further without being limited by it. So all right, one thing that's I just got to get off my chest here, is that a lot of people are freaking out about the price. And the thing about the Titan swap is that, okay, so we all know that the Frontier, the Xterra, and the Titan all sit on the same frame for the years that they all match up. They all sit on the same frame. So all those parts were manufactured just based off of one frame. So everything just gets to get dropped in, easy peasy, no problem. Everything just bolts right in the same spot. With this, the whole front end is completely remanufactured, right? It's been redesigned and calculated out, and we tested on a few different platforms. We tested this truck really, really hard, or excuse me, tested the suspension setup with the solid axle front end on it extremely hard. So it's worked on Frontiers, it's worked on Xterras. I bet the fucking thing would work on a goddamn Titan as well. So I know some people are already doing Titan ones, but they're having to come up with their own stuff. So for the way that this truck performs, if you're willing to spend just a couple grand extra, you're going to have yourself a much more capable truck to do what you want to do and go where you want to go. So that being said, I don't know if any of you guys got any questions, but feel free to ask, and I'd be more than happy to answer them the best that I could. But that is the life of my truck over the last 10 years. Here we are, and yeah, if you guys have any questions, hit me up.